Hey everybody, Raven here, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscription button, tap that notification bell, bing, so you don't miss all the really cool upcoming content as well as our live coin and silver auctions and live stream half-dollar searches for silver. We always have really cool giveaways and a great chat room of people, games, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's topic, and that is stacking gold and silver. When should I start? Well, before I get into that, I want to let you know I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a stacker and collector myself, giving you some tips on how to be more successful in your adventure being a stacker slash collector of silver and gold. So to get into it, when is the best time to start? Yesterday, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't started, the sooner the better. An example that I want to share with you is with my kids. Each one of my kids has been a stacker since before birth. And you say, well, Raven, how's that possible? Well, what we do is, me and Miss Raven, we know we're about to have a kid. We establish them their own little stack. We make sure we get them their birth set. We get them some coins. We get them some, a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold. And we put that aside for them as their beginning stack. And, of course, we make a budget and everything. And we'll talk about all this a little bit later because as budgeting is a very important part of stacking. But either way, each kid has established their own stack. And as time goes by, each month something's added to their stack. And when they get old enough to understand what stacking and coin collecting is, and they show an interest, then we teach to them and explain, hey, here's what we have for you. Here's what's going on. It's going to grow throughout your life. And by the way, now that you're interested, here's your own little bitty budget so that you can maybe get some of the things that you like a little bit better, because you do have to allow some leeway and some room for miscellaneous expenses as well as trying to make it fun for them. If you just make them only get generic bullion, nothing exciting, nothing fun, they might lose interest. Now, you might think that's a little counterintuitive because some of those have really high premiums, and I'm somebody that's against high premiums, but sometimes you got to pay for what you want to have and what you get. And that's kind of a give and take. That's why in the expense or budget, I put in a miscellaneous expense for stuff. But the really cool thing is hoping that your kids will have a future of stacking and enjoying it with you as well, because doing it as a family can be really fun. Now, you say to yourself, how do I start stacking, aka where do I buy, etc.? Well, before you go shopping and everything, you want to make sure that you have an established budget and you have goals that are tied into that. Now, the reason that happens is because your budget lets you know what you can spend so that you don't overspend or do anything that will hurt your other investments or your regular life, paying your bills and whatnot. So a really cool thing to do is make sure that, once you have your budget established, you know what you're going to buy, you have a goal of, say, 10 ounces of silver and a quarter ounce of gold in 3 months. When you go through those and you hit your little tick marks and at the end of 3 months you establish that goal, a really cool thing to do, something I do, is I give myself a simple little reward. I might get myself a bowl of ice cream or treat myself to like a $5 or $10 coin at the shop that I liked that, it might not be something super fancy, not worth a lot, but it's still a nice little reward that reminds me that I am reaching my goals. And that's one of the things that I said before about when you're establishing your budget, put in there maybe a little spot for miscellaneous expenses, because you're going to need supplies and different things, to store your gold and silver in. So then, after you've established these things, now you want to research your options. Where can I go to buy silver and gold and feel comfortable? Well, first of all, any local coin shop is normally the place to go. Some coin shops are better than others, but most of them are very honest and very reputable because they want to have lifetime customers. Most people that stack and collect coins, they do it over their lifetime. So it's in their best interest to be honest and upfront with you with what they do. Secondly, you can look at the online bullion dealers. There is APMEX, JM Bullion, Bold Precious Metals, SD bullion. You know, there's a lot of different options. There's even the United States Mint in some areas, like with Silver Eagles, whatnot. But you have a lot of options there. Plus, you have third-party options as well. You have flea markets and swap meets, and then reputable YouTube people such as myself, wink, wink, and a lot of other YouTubers that are really honest and above board that you can approach and get really cool stuff from. Yeah, Michael Kittle Rare Coins. You got Rob Finds Treasure, Silver Seeker, just to mention a few people that are out there that do kind of the same thing. And, you know, you can find different ways to maybe do trades or just different options when going through the YouTube side or a third-party vendor. I think that when you have YouTube and third-party vendors or swap meets, things like that, you get a little bit more leeway and a little bit more negotiation room. And a lot of times you end up developing really good relationships and really actually long-term, you know, lifetime friendships out of it. So, what do you want to do once you start buying? You want to avoid the ultra high premiums as much as possible. Now, remember I said earlier, there's times that you're going to want a certain item. You're going to want that Star Wars coin. You're going to want the Pac-Man. You're going to want Back to the Future or whatever. But that's part of your private collection versus your investment stack. Your investment stack, you kind of want to more focus on things like Silver Eagles, Gold Eagles, the Buffaloes, generic silver, constitutional silver, aka junk silver, 90% silver, such as right here. I will show you guys if you do not know and you're completely new to investing. Right here is Morgan dollars. These are silver dollars that are 90% silver. Here, I'll show a couple up front here. Get it to focus there. Of course, when you want it to focus, the camera doesn't want to. But my point being, 90% constitutional silver. You have half dollars, quarters, dimes, things like that that you can buy. And, you know, sometimes you can get really, really good deals on constitutional. Sometimes constitutional gets a little bit out of hand. But those are some of the ways to, you know, make sure that you get a little bit more bang for your buck when you go to sell your silver back. You know, Silver Eagles lately have had a really high premium, but I expect those to start going back down when the hype kind of dies down a little bit. But the main idea is make sure you stay more to, you know, state or government minted bullion / generic bullions so that you can have lower premiums. And then while you're doing this, you want to make sure that you buy on the lows, sell on the highs if you're selling anything. Honestly, gold and silver investing and stacking is a long-term investment. There are times and opportunities, yes, that you can make some money, but you really want to make sure that, again, over time, and I've talked about this many times, that you have a increasing, you know, profit going on, that you're not losing any money doing this, because that's not what this is about. This is to help you increase your wealth. And honestly, when you start stacking gold and silver, you will actually notice that you start doing better with your budget and the way you do things. And quite honestly, it seems to attract more ability to keep stacking and grow that. You know, and then along the way, talk to people, establish relationships, because I don't know every last thing out there. I just have a couple things to tell you guys to basically say, hey, this will give you a little bit of a leg up. And a lot of times the people that you know will get you those extra great deals that still help you meet your budget goals and get some extra cool stuff on top of it. Finally, what I think most important as being a gold and silver stacker, have some fun. You got to have fun doing it. If you're not having fun doing it, you know, make it into a game or something. Like I said, you have goals, but maybe there's some other way to turn it into a game for yourself if you're not enjoying it that much. But hopefully you understand the importance of stacking silver and gold for building your wealth. And God forbid, if there's ever an economic meltdown, you actually have some leverage and you will be able to trade, you know, silver and gold and whatnot for commodities, you know, which I'm really hoping and praying that never happens to us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, comment down below, or you can correspond with us at ravenhawkcoins@gmail.com. Our P.O. Box is 721-296, Norman, Oklahoma 73070. Like always, please make sure to take care of one another. We'll see you soon. Ravenhawk Coins, have a great day.